Hey boys, welcome back to some more Nrl Supercoach 2024 season, and it's going to be Teamlist Tuesday part two of round one. So we got a little prefix out of the way with the Vegas Sunday. I was going to say weekend. I mean, I guess it was a weekend, but Vegas Sunday, a couple of games. We got the team list for those games. Split round. It was good. I mean, I enjoyed the games, that's for sure. I enjoyed the footy being back, but it feels like we're into the... it feels like they were exhibition games, so the Broncos losing doesn't matter. It was like an exhibition game. I know it was round one, but it doesn't mean anything, so it's fine. It's fine. It's not copium at all, but regardless, it's going to be a deep dive into the official team list for the rest of the round, and that is going to be just back to normal, which is good. I'm looking forward to it being like just back to what we know. I'm keen for all the games to be on one weekend and everything to be a bit more sort of I guess knowing a little bit before time, but yeah, it's exciting. There's quite a lot to go through. I haven't even looked at the team list, so this will be the first time having a look, and there's some big important ones. So first game is actually a very important one. So we'll have a look at the Knights versus the Canberra Raiders. So also an exciting game for a Thursday night. I'm keen to see this game. So let's have a look at what we have got on the table. So back five for each team. We got Kalen Ponga and Nrl Supercoach, which I guess that wing spot was sort of open, but I was pretty confident Tuala was going to get the spot. I guess there was always the hope that maybe a cheapie. I guess they got Jenkins there as well, who's not. He's very expensive, so I guess Tuala is probably a better option potentially. I mean, I've sort of looked at Tuala. I've looked at him. The price is a little bit awkward though. But yeah, Tuala, Dane Gagai, Bradman Best, and obviously Greg Marju on the left side. And I mean, just being outside of Dane Gagai is just a godsend for any winger. Okay, I'm back. I know that it was like a second in the video, but of course, as soon as I start recording, my dog decides to bark and just like he's a cutie. But okay, we just finished the Knights backline, no surprises. Then we have the Raiders. So we have Jordan Rapana at fullback, Nick Kotrick on one wing with Xavier Savage, and we got Matt Timoko and Albert Hopewade, the other center. That is annoying, but it's the fact Hopewade is there and not Schiller is maybe a blessing in disguise, because if Schiller was named at center, I probably would have put him in my team as a cheapie center wing, and obviously with this, it looks like Schiller's the one not on the outer, but next man up. So Sebastian Chris is back. Is Chris back next round 2 or round 3? He's back in a couple of weeks at latest. So it would have been Schiller. You would have put him in, and then as soon as Chris came back, he probably would have taken Schiller's spot. So I guess it's a blessing in disguise not to have Schiller there stinking it up after round 1. But yeah, Savage. I guess that's the thing though. Now, who does Sebastian Chris replace? It literally. The only safe players here are Matt Timoko. Obviously, he'll stay in center. And Jordan Rapana is safe in the team, but he might not stay at fullback. Chris definitely comes back in for either... He could come back in for Kotrick, Hopewade, or Savage. So, that's a tough one. That's a tough one, because, I mean, Nick Kotrick is like a decent cheapie option. His form has been absolute dog water, especially for Supercoach for a couple of years. But, I mean, he's like 270k. If he was going to lock that spot, he wouldn't be the worst. Xavier Savage at 350k is... I I don't mind the punt on him. Like if he had job security, I probably would take the punt on him because like he's one of those wingers that can score a double pretty easily. You know, he's a try scoring winger, so you probably wouldn't play him most weeks if you didn't have to, but you just take the price rises when they eventually would come. But the fact that he could be out of the team when Chris comes back, it's a little bit awkward to go with him. I'm still half tempted just because of what he can do, but yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. Hopefully we get some sort of... you probably won't get any sort of word, but yeah, we'll see. The halves, so yes, Tyson Gamble and Jackson Hastings, but the big one here, Ethan Strange is the man to start at 5'8" with Jamal Fogarty. So KO Weeks, not there. Again, probably the best case scenario. I mean, one, Ethan Strange is cheaper. He's also dual center wing and 5'8", so you can slot him in either. And then also the fact that if KO Weeks was selected, he's probably another guy like Schiller that you probably would have had to have picked, or you would have taken the punt. And if he had a couple of bad games, I would not be shocked to see him dropped in a couple of games. But Ethan Strange, he's the probably future of the club. I think it would be pretty harsh for Ricky Stewart to drop him after a couple of games. Even if he has a couple of stinkers, you would expect him to get a bit of a stay in the 5'8" spot just to... I mean, he's a young kid. He's a young star of the future. So I like it, and I think the job security is actually pretty good now with Ethan Strange. The forward pack. So Knights, we got Saifidi, Thompson starts, Crossland, Frizzell, Dylan Lucas starts, which again is not surprising. There was talk that Kai Pearce-Paul he was potentially going to start, but Dylan Lucas, Adam Elliott, and then the Raiders. So Josh Papali'i, Joe Tarpany, Danny Levi gets a start, which is good. Definitely a cheapy option if some of the other dummy halves are not going to work out. Hudson Young, Zach Hosking is the other back rower, so no Adam Elliott. It must be an injury to Adam Elliott, surely. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't heard anything, so I don't know, but I'd be shocked if Elliott was dropped. So I wouldn't be that... Like, Hosking is a good price for what he can do, but yeah, I wouldn't be keen on Hosking staying there. And then Morgan Smithy's the other pretty cheap mid-ranger, has got the starting spot. I mean, he's pretty much locked into my team. I think the potential is there. He could become a little bit of an issue when Horsburgh comes back, but if he plays well, then he has every chance to keep the spot, and Josh Papali'i could go back to the bench for that impact which he enjoys doing. And then on the bench we got Jack Cogger, the 14, Saifidi, Hetherington, Kai Pearce-Paul. Yes, Pearce-Paul is on the bench, which it's sort of I guess people... I'm sure people will still take the punt on Dylan Lucas in the centre wing, but the fact Kai Pearce-Paul is there, I just think both those guys, it's just I wouldn't be looking at either of them at least for a few weeks to just see how it shapes up in the back row. It's just way too undecided. And then the Raiders, so yeah, Tom Starling, the 14, Emre Gula, Ada Mariota, and Sami Solo. So Mariota is actually... okay, yeah. Mariota could be a bit of a trap as well. Like, I think he is an absolute gun, Mariota. But obviously with Horsburgh to come back into that team, one of these forwards is going to get dropped. And Emre Gula, you wouldn't think so. Sami Solo, I don't mind. I think Mariota is a better player than Solo, but Solo was pretty good for them last year, so you would expect Mariota to drop out. So, a bit of a trap there, potentially, if you wanted to go there. I actually think Tommy Starling is good for Danny Levi on the bench because Ricky Stewart has never really liked playing Tom Starling for big minutes. So, you would expect Levi to play at least 40 minutes at dummy half. I guess it's still a bit of a worry as we look. So, yeah, KO Weeks is the 18th man. You got obviously Wolford there in the extended. Wolford's the one that's the issue because, I mean, Ricky Stewart seems to like Wolford quite a bit. So, yeah, just a bit of it to watch. But, I mean, a starting dummy half, like, at basic cheapy price, like, it's hard to pass up, even without the 80 minutes. I think, because Levi, he's not going to set the world on fire, but I actually think Levi has a little bit about him. I actually like Levi quite a bit. So, I think he's got a decent little running game and he's got solid enough base. So I don't hate the Levi shout as a cheap dummy half, like second dummy half option. As we move on to the Sharkies v the Warriors. So we'll see if there's any surprises. So yeah, Tuapiki is the fullback with Chans out. Tuapiki, I would need work. Like, obviously, you can play Tuapiki in the center wing. I can't remember what his price is, but he's cheap. He's very cheap. Chance is obviously... from initial reports, Chance is going to be missing potentially like the first 3, maybe 4 games, which it does make Tuapiki a little bit tempting. If he can... But... yeah, I don't know. I would love to get some sort of word if Chance is... yeah, just... it depends. I don't know. You could, again, depending on other cheapies and balance, you could take the punt on Tuapiki, but it's a little bit dicey to start the year with him. But I guess the other thing about him is that you can... if you start him at that cheap price, like you can play him in your 17 pretty comfortably because he's a fullback. It's not like you're playing him and not getting the points from him. So that's the other plus if you're gonna take the punt on Tuapiki. Tenny Lesniak, obviously Montoya, and then RTS. Rocco Berry gets the other centre spot. We were hoping it was going to be the other. Who was it? Leilatu. What's his name? Yeah. Or Leia Taua? How do you pronounce it, dude? I feel like that's the way it's spelled is not how you pronounce it. But we're hoping he was going to get the spot, but no, Rocco Berry. I think he deserved the spot, so that's fair enough. Then we have in the Sharkies, Will Kennedy, Sione Katoa, Ramian, Talakai, and Mulatalo, so very standard. Nothing doing there. The halves, so Nico Hines. I did see that, yeah, Nico Hines looked like he was going to be fit for round 1, which is good. I mean, if he was going to miss round 1, I probably would have kept him, but it would have been a fucking... especially with my... starting Supercoach off poorly with the opening couple of games and a couple of injury blows, like not playing a gun halfback would have been another like just stab. But it's very nice that he's playing because it would have I would have been tempted to like not like get someone else in for the first week, but it probably would have been a bad decision. Brayden Trindle, Johnson, Metcalf. I guess there was options for that 5'8" spot, but again, I do think Metcalf was the man for the job. A few people have been interested in him as a 5'8" option. I was until I looked at his stats, and they just weren't impressive to me, even though he played quite a few games last year, and he obviously has those 70-80 point games in him, but they're too many like 30s to 40s. Because it's the Sean Johnson show, and I don't know. I might have another look at him just to tempt myself, because saving money not going Dylan Brown would be nice. I just don't really like any other 5'8" options. I was tempted by Brooks, but I didn't end up going with the punt. I feel like I'm getting a little FOMO, even though he only scored like 59 points. He could have easily got 100, and just with Tommy in that team, he looks like he could be a pretty solid option, but we'll see. It was only one game, and the Rabbitohs were pretty poor defensively as well. Moving into the forwards, so we've got Fanil Blake, Egan, Barnett, Ford, Capel, Harris. Again, very standard. Sharkies, Oregon, Kafusi, Brayley, Hunt, Nickera, Wilton, McInnes. Again, standard. The bench Freddie Lussick, Ale Buntiafoa, and Dylan Walker. And then, Dale Finucane is back, which, they got 4 middles. Dale Finucane, Jack Williams, Toby Rudolph, and Hazleton. So, at the moment, I was somewhat keen on Royce Hunt. He's not in my team, as of, I made the team before the Vegas game and I didn't have Royce Hunt in there. I decided to take the one punt on fucking Spencer Leniu, and that didn't work out. But even Royce Hunt now with the 4 big, middle forwards, I just don't see Royce Hunt really getting the minutes to... He can score pretty solidly even with a few minutes, but the bench is just not good for him. I mean, it's good for Blake Brayley, playing 80 minutes, even though, I don't know, Blake Brayley, I don't know. I've never really been tempted by Brayley. He does play 80, and the bench, he's going to, unless McInnes spells him for 10 minutes or so, but I don't know. Brayley just doesn't really interest me. And then the forwards for the Sharkies, no one really pops out. Not really much doing. Kale Iro is the 18th man, which, I don't know, as a cheapie, it'd be nice if he came in at some point, but we'll wait and see. But not too much else to really talk about there. I'm not really that keen. I gotta be honest, I am fucking keen on Wade Egan. I know all the content creators are fully against Wade Egan. I'm very tempted by Wade Egan because they keep bringing up, I hear it so often that Wade Egan scored so many tries, so his averages is way too inflated for how many tries he scored. But then they never bring up the fact that he had 3, 4, maybe 5 games of concussions, and a couple of those games he played 20 minutes. So yes, he scored tries, but he also had multiple games of very low minutes and very low scores due to a head knock. Now, I guess you could say that, okay, he's more likely to get a head knock, but then you could say he's more likely to score tries. So I think they balance out, and if he doesn't... I actually think if he doesn't get the head knocks and he stays fully fit for the year, I think Wade Egan could be a really good pickup. I don't know if I want to spend the money on him, though. That's the only issue. Looking at the bench, I guess, Freddie Lussick is there, so it does make it a little less desirable. Because, it seemed like he was playing big minutes when he was fit, but it seems like, maybe they are just going to spell him a bit more, so I'm a little bit off. But I just disagree with people being so against Egan for the tries. He had so many games of head knocks where he scored low. So yes, he scored more tries, but it balances out. I don't know. That's always bugged me. I'm why are you so against Egan, bro? I think the other major thing here is that the Warriors forward pack is so damn good. Only against the absolute best packs in the comp are they not going to just dominate. It's such a strong forward rotation that Egan off the back of that is going to get freedom. He's going to get the odd try. He's going to get try assists just passing it to Fennell Blake and Tohu Harris and fucking forward close to the line. He's going to get those attacking stats. It's going to happen. So I am tempted, but probably with Lussick on the bench, it does make it a little bit probably not worth the risk early on. Then we have Storm v Penrith. What have we got to look at here? There's a couple of things. Definitely a couple of things here. So, Papenhausen, Warbrick, Smith, Meaney, Coates, all pretty stock standard. Dylan Edwards. So Taruva is back, which didn't really make too much of a difference if he was out. Maybe May played on the wing for a couple of weeks, but looks like he's good. Isaac Tungo, May, To'o, again, what you'd expect. 5'8". I mean, Munster and Luai are both named. I haven't heard too much about Luai if he's racing the clock or something, but I know Munster is he's still in a bit of doubt with the groin. Oh man. God, I hope he doesn't miss round 1. Round 1 against Penrith, God, you got to play that game. It'd be a bit of a it would be bloody annoying if Penrith got to play Storm in round 1 without Cameron Munster there. But yeah, hopefully he's fit. Cleary, Hughes, obviously. Forward pack, so we got Kamikamitha, Grant, King, Joe Chan. I fucking love Joe Chan. He is an absolute gun. I was shocked that he wasn't like getting more time in the trials. He's a real good player. Like I'm actually shocked he hasn't had more opportunities before this year, basically. So that's awesome to see him there. No Kane Bradley, but Joe Chan is I'm pretty sure he's bottom dollar. He's not dual 2RF centre wing like Bradley was, but he's a cheapy second rower. I don't know if I can fit him in with my second row, but yeah, it could be a good watch. Like I think he's an absolute star, but yeah, I guess that second row spot is a little bit. We just don't know who's going to nail that position down at the moment. Eli Katoa, obviously, and Trent Liero. It's good to see that Trent Liero is locked in for that lock role, because it does take one second rower out of the equation, and we will get one good value second rower regardless, especially if it's Joe Chan who nails the spot down for a good amount of time. We got Moses Leota. So Luke Summerton, I think he played a couple of games last year for Penrith, looked okay, but he's got the starting spot for Kenny being out for a game. So no Sonny Luke. He might be on the bench, but not starting. James Fisher-Harris, Luke Garner, Liam Munn, and Isaiah Yeo. And then the benches. So yeah, Tyron Wishart, Welsh, Chris Lewis, and Alec McDonald. So yeah, Solomona's out. I can't remember what happened to Solomona, but yeah, he's out. The Penrith Panthers, Peachy, Smith, Henry, and Eisenhuth. Man, if fucking Kenny was out for a good chunk of time, Luke Summerton, he'd be like straight in, because he's probably going to play 80 minutes. I mean, Peachy might spell him for a bit through the middle, but obviously he's only going to get one game, so yeah, not to be. Yeah, not much. I mean, Liam Henry on the bench is good, but who's to come back into that team? Or is there no one? I'm trying to think. Who is... Yeah, Sonny Luke's not even in the... Yeah, that's strange. Sonny Luke, dude. I still don't know why people were talking Sonny Luke up so much. Like, every time I'd seen him... Yeah, he had a little bit of spark at dummy half, but the bloke can't defend. Like, he literally can't tackle at all. So I'm not surprised that he hasn't nailed a spot in this Penrith team when their whole ethic is on defense. Makes a lot of sense. Silfay Longo in the extended, Kane Bradley there, Sean Bloor as well. So those two guys are the issue for Joe Chan, I guess. We don't really know what's happening with Bloor. I mean, Bloor could definitely be used through the middle. If Chan plays well, and I think he will play well, I think Sean Bloor could be used very usefully through the middle, because, I don't know, like Chris Lewis, Alec McDonald, Christian Welsh even... I don't mind Christian Welsh, but their middles are a little bit weak, I still think. Like Trent Liero at lock, I don't know. Obviously Solomona is to come back into the forward pack, which will bolster it, but the middles are a little bit, not the best at the moment for the Storm. So if they can turn Bloor maybe into more middle, but I don't know what the plan is at the moment. And then, Penrith, obviously Liam Henry comes into calculation as a cheapie. Lindsay Smith obviously sort of kicked on last year. He actually got, pretty good minutes coming off the bench, and I think he's at a pretty good price now. So I guess we're hoping that Liam Henry does the same thing. It's probably not a terrible punt to take, because, Fisher-Harris can play big minutes, but I don't know. Typically, they do like to share the minutes pretty evenly at the Penrith, in the Penrith middle, it seems like. Yo will obviously play 80, and then, Luke Garner and Liam Munn potentially might get spelled. Although I don't think any of these guys really go into the second row, so they might be locked in for 80. I'm trying to think, fucking who is Luke Garner going to be their second rower going forward? Obviously Hosking's gone. Do they have someone else to come back in? Like, is Garner actually going to be the second rower? Because I mean, I was keen on Garner last year. Is it Garner time? I don't even know what he's priced at. I'll have a look at him when we go to Supercoach. But yeah, that's interesting. Not much else to really talk about with those teams. Obviously, I'm not keen on Pappenhausen regardless, even though it's great to see him back and hopefully just just a nice solid year. That's all we want. Eels v Bulldog. Okay, so this is a big one. Eels, we got Gutherson, Simonson, Panasini, Morgan Harper, and Sean Russell. Obviously, Sivo being out. I don't know what that would change. Probably Simonson go to centre, Harper would drop out, and Sivo back to the wing. Okay, yeah, so that's what would change when Sivo is back. Doggy, so Blake Taff is the fullback. Blake Wilson on the wing with Addo-Carr and Jacob Kiraz with Stephen Crichton. So no Bronson Sherry, which, I mean, is fair enough. Like, Sherry was really good in the trials, but honestly, Blake Wilson was really good in the trials as well, and I thought he was exceptional last year when he played on the wings. So I think the young kid deserves a spot to start the year, and it seems like Jacob Kiraz wants to play centre, which, I mean, fair enough. Like, he's a young star, so I mean, give him what he wants, I guess. But yeah, I wouldn't be shocked to see this backline change in the opening few weeks if things don't quite work out. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if Crichton eventually moves back to fullback and there's a centre spot opened up. Well, I mean, you never know. We'll see what happens. 5'8" and halfbacks. So yeah, Dill Brown, Mitch Moses, Matty Burton, and Drew Hutchison does get the spot. So I mean, I think I'm gonna start Drew Hutchison in the centre wing. I'm not loving it, but I don't know. I think you can do worse. I don't know. We'll see what shapes up with the rest of the back line, but I don't hate Drew Hutchison potentially. The forward pack also very interesting. Okay, so we got, I mean, I forgot about the dummy half. So Joey Lussick gets the start. Campbell Gillard, Polo, Sean Lane gets the start as well, which I mean, I was expecting. Like, Kelman Tuolangi was not going to start over Lane. Minutes potentially are an issue with Kelma, maybe taking minutes away, but I still think Lane, you gotta risk it. Cartwright and Jermaine Hopgood. We gotta look at the bench. I guess Brendan Hands is on the bench with Ryan Madison, Joe Offengowie, and Kelma Tuolangi. So, oh man. Okay, so I think this pretty much locks in that Levi will be my second cheap dummy half. It's just a matter of I guess I'm gonna spend up and get a decent dummy half of my first, which is probably a good thing. I mean, you could still take the punt on a Joey Lussick. He's like 310k, but oh man, I think it's a bit too risky. If he was like your second dummy half, then fair enough. But if you wanted to start him, it's a little bit too risky, because if he only plays 40 minutes and Brennan Hands comes on and plays 40, even if he plays 50 minutes, he could only score like 30, 35 points. Like, obviously a dummy half like that is not going to, like, he's not going to set the world on fire. So I'm not, I don't think you could. You could wait to see the minute rotation, but I think it's a little bit too risky to start with either of those guys now. The rest of the bench, I mean, obviously Madison, Offengowie. I mean, the fact that it's only... does Offengowie actually become a little bit tempting now? Because Ryan Madison will obviously come on and play good minutes. I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know. Because, I mean, Hopgood can play massive minutes. like Sean Lane and Cartwright can both play 80, but the fact Kelmer's on the bench, you would expect. It probably seems like Sean Lane's going to spell for maybe 20 minutes for Kelmer. But I don't know. That's just guesswork. And then Polo and Campbell Gillard can both play big minutes, but you would expect. I actually don't mind Offengowie because Madison. They'll probably play Madison and Hopgood at the same time. So Hopgood probably moves like more into prop and Madison to lock. And then Offengowie will take the other prop rotation. Yeah, I don't know. He's like 350k. It's probably not worth it. It's probably not worth it. I already took the punt on fucking Spencer at 300k. I probably don't want to take the punt. And even fucking Jai Arrow stunk it up. So I probably need to just go cheap as my other guys and just hope they do something. But I don't hate it. I don't hate Offengowie. I don't know. It's I honestly don't know how the minutes are going to shape up in that Parramatta forward pack. It could be all over the shop. Also, injuries could affect it, obviously. And then the doggies, also very important. I didn't look at all. I do see Salmon there. So Max King, Reed Marnie. Farmer Silly is starting. Okay. He is leapt into calculations for a second cheapy front row option. Billy Army, Kickout, Preston, and Salmon. Oh man, then you got Kurt Mann, Sam Hughes, Josh Curran, Kurt Moran. So, good lord, I don't know what to do with that. I mean, Josh Curran at the moment, I did drop him from the team. He's not in there at the moment, and I mean, I just don't think you could take the punt on Curran. The fact that Salmon's starting, and then you've got Kurt Mann, who will play like a lock. He could spell Reed Marnie, but you would probably more expect him to play as that like link man lock. And then Josh Curran, I don't know, maybe they use Curran as like a prop forward rotation. I don't know, but then you got Sam Hughes. You got Sam Hughes in the prop rotation and Curtis Moran. I don't know, do they use Josh Curran on the edge for like kick out at times? I mean, you just couldn't go Curran. I think Sam Hughes is still pretty good because again, yeah, I mean, Max King can play big minutes. Farmer Silly definitely cannot play big minutes. So that's good for Sam Hughes, even though I don't expect Sam Hughes to play big minutes. He might, but I don't expect it. And then Curtis Moran also, I don't think is like a big minute forward, middle forward guy. So, fuck, I don't know. I mean, Sam Hughes, I think, is locked in for me. Josh Curran is a wait and see. You couldn't go him on the bench with that forward pack. And then Farmer Silly, I think he's like bottom dollar, at least pretty cheap. So the fact he's starting, do you want Farmer Silly and Sam Hughes as your like two cheapy front rowers, both Bulldogs? I don't know, but it's not the worst. It's not. It's always nice to go with a guy that's starting, right? It's just because they're guaranteed to play 20 up front at the least, like. Depending his fitness, he might play 25. And then you would expect them to come back on for like, you'd hope for another 15 minutes with that forward pack. So you would think 40 minutes for Farmer Silly, but it's not, I don't know. Who knows? Again, like the Eels forward pack, I don't know how the minutes are going to shape up, but I didn't even talk about Salmon. So Salmon is an interesting one. He's also dual centre wing, second row forward. I know a lot of people are going to go him, and again, if there's no other good, like, cheaper centre wings, like, I don't hate him, but I just can't, like, for one, I can't see him playing big minutes, and then even if he does play pretty decent minutes, I think he's going to be absolutely he's going to stink it up at Supercoach. Like, I feel like he's gonna make his tackles, but I feel like he's gonna just be a catch and pass merchant at lock. Like, I know people were saying he looks so good at lock. I don't think you look that good. I think you just passed really early before the line. which people just, I don't know, they froth at a fucking lock ball playing, but I wasn't that excited by it. And I think for Supercoach purposes, I think he'll score diddly squat. I could be wrong, and honestly, I could be a hypocrite and start him in my center wing, but I don't know. It's, again, with that fucking bench, man. I mean, Kurt Mann being there is probably the biggest issue with Josh Curran. Like, I don't know. He's like 300k though. It could be worth a punt in the center wing, but fuck, that's throwing me for a bit of a loop. Even though that's sort of what I was expecting, it's not really anything that's surprising, I guess. I mean, Salmon started both trials. Kurt Mann was obviously going to get a spot, I expected. Then we got the Titans v Dragons. So, any big notes here? Counter Kinney, obviously fullback. I mean, I wouldn't be going him. He's unfortunately not. He's not dual centre wing, so he's just fullback. Khan Pereira, Brian Kelly, Brimson, Philip Sammy, pretty standard. Tyrell Sloan, Zach Lomax is on the wing. Moses Sully, Jack Bird, Michaeli, Ravalara. I mean, Moses Sully obviously looked incredible in the trials, but I don't know. I need to see it a couple of times in the proper footy before you jump on Sully, I think. Kyle Flanagan, Ben Hunt, Kieran Foran, and Tanner Boyd. Again, pretty much what you'd expect. I don't know. Kyle Flanagan, at this point, I wouldn't be going. Forward pack of Fodawaka, Randall, Fasum, Mawa'ali, Cleese Haas has got the edge spot. Okay, so no Arlick, who I thought probably Arlick deserved the second row spot. I think he's a damn good player. I know Cleese Haas has been okay, but I don't know, I probably expected... I mean, it doesn't matter too much, because obviously when Fafita comes back, it's his spot, but I think Arlick probably deserved it. Bo Fermor, Keenan Palacia. I mean, again, Palacia at lock. Fuck. I mean, he wasn't good in the trials, but oh no, I couldn't do it. Again, I gotta go cheap as my other two front rowers. So I'm not gonna spend up for Palacia as like my third front rower. It's just not worth it. Frankie Molo, Jacob Little. So Jacob Little is named. Blake Laurie, Tom Eisenhuth. Okay, no. I was looking at Eisenhuth. I'm like, wait, why isn't he in my team again? But of course, Leilua has signed to the Dragons, and I did see that he got his suspension downgraded. So he's only missing one game. So that pretty much, I mean, Tom Eisenhuth, yeah, he's an absolute trap. Do not go Tom Eisenhuth in your centre wing or second row forward, because Leilua will be back in round 2, and I mean, maybe he starts from the bench, but I wouldn't expect Tom Eisenhuth to play many minutes with Leilua there. Jaden Sewer, I've said it like a couple of videos ago. I love Jaden Sewer. I think he's so underrated as a footy player. He's a bit too expensive in Supercoach, but God, he's good. I wish he'd come back to the Broncos. And then we got Jack Tabell on there. Bench, so obviously, yeah, so Sam Verrills on the bench, which I don't mind. Chris Randall to take the sting out of the game. Sam Verrills to come on and just spark it up a little bit. Obviously not really Supercoach relevant, but I actually like it in real footy sense. Isaac Liu, Aaron Clark, and Jamin Jolliffe. I still think Aaron Clark is not a bad watch, because I don't really rate Palacia. I actually think Aaron Clark should start at lock and play bigger minutes. I think he's pretty good. I think he's actually very good at lock. He's got the leg speed. He's got the offload in him. It probably won't happen, but I just keep an eye on Aaron Clark, because if he got the start, he probably won't. But if he did, he'd be straight in my team. So Mulhausen is the 14, so that it puts a bit of a damper on Jacob Little, because yeah, he won't be playing 80 minutes. And I guess also with that hamstring potential issue, it's a bit too risky to start with Little, I think. Mikey Molo, Viliami Fafita and Raymond Fatala Mariner. There's another one where I know people are going to be keen on Fafita. Like, he is dual 2RF and front row forward, cheapy. It's lovely, but Luciano Leilua, like I said, is coming back into the team. Someone's going to drop off. Maybe Eisenhuth just drops out, but I wouldn't think so, because he's just a good versatile forward, Eisenhuth. Like, he can play in the centres at an absolute pinch. Like, I wouldn't want him there, but he can. He can play in the back row, he can play in the front row, so probably Fafita is the one to drop off, so I'd be a little bit careful with going Fafita. I mean, maybe he doesn't. Maybe Fatala Mariner, maybe Michael Molo. He shouldn't, because I think Molo's a little pocket rocket as well, but maybe just keep a watch to see what happens next round for Luciano coming back into that team. And then not too much else doing. There's Jacob Alec there in the extended, but yeah, not too much else. None of these. I mean, the only guy, Bo Fermor, I am pretty keen to start with. He is in my team at the moment. That's the only guy I'm really keen on. I mean, a little for a fleeting moment, or fleeting moment. But Mulheisen on the bench sort of ruins that little plan. And then, yeah, nothing too much else doing in this game. And then the final round of the game, or final game of the round. Jesus Christ! I mean, I've been talking too long. I've lost my damn mind. But the Dolphins Cowboys, also pretty potential interesting team list. Who we got? So Fido, Zarko, Tessie has got the spot there with Herbie and Jack Bostock. So Bostock, again, he's another guy. He is in my team at the moment. I'm not that keen on Bostock, but again, a genuine winger and a guy that looks like he's pretty much locked in that spot. It's hard not to go him. Like, I don't want to be playing Bostock most weeks, unless he starts killing it, but he's a guy, he's at 300k, you just hope and he gets on a bit of a try-scoring run, makes a lot of cash quickly, and you can fucking dish him off. I feel like he's one of these guys you just got to wait till he gets on a run and then try to upgrade him as soon as possible. But yeah, he's in the team at the moment. I think it's worth the punt at the moment. And then we got Scotty Drinkwater, Kyle Felt. Fuck, how does Kyle Felt get a spot over Semi Valame? Someone riddle me that. Am I going crazy? I mean, so I never liked Kyle Felt for a long time. I thought he was absolute trash. And then a couple of years later, I actually thought, you know what, Kyle Felt, he's actually turned into a pretty good winger, and actually a damn good winger, I would say. But then the last couple of years, he's gone back to his mediocre best. And I feel like Semi Valame just offers what Kyle Felt can do, but just better. Like, he's been a great servant for the club, but good Lord, what does Valame have to do to get the starting spot? I don't understand it at all, but that's fine. That's a bit of a rant over. Val Holmes, Zach Labart does get the centre spot, which again was pretty obvious. And then Murray Tuolangi, the other winger. Labert, again, is just a little bit expensive to start the year, in my opinion. I mean, the Cowboys do have a good draw, but he's like 470k. If I was going to... I think him and Tuala are like pretty similar price. I'd probably rather take the flyer on Tuala, just playing on that wing that Dom Young scored so many tries. I mean, granted... Tuala is no Dom Young, and probably half of the tries Dom Young scored, Tuala's not scoring them. So you do have to keep that in mind. But yeah, I'm not really keen on either, really. And then the halves, we got Cody Nikarima, Sean O'Sullivan, Tommy Dearden, and Chad Townsend. Then the forward pack, we got Jesse Bromwich, Marshall King, Thomas Flegler, Felice Kafusi, Connolly Lemuelu, Ray Stone. Man, I wish Lemuelu was still dual centre wing eligible. Like, he obviously shouldn't be, because he didn't play centre wing at all last year, but if he was, he would be straight into my team in the centre wing. He looks so... Like, he was so good last year. I had him for a bit, and I traded him too early, unfortunately, but he still did a good job for me. solid as like his good base stats, but then he's just got a bit about him. Like he's got the offload, he's got great footwork. I mean, he came up through the Cowboys as a center, and he was quick, he was big, athletic guy. He's obviously turned more into a second row now, but he's still got that footwork, he's still got the speed. And yeah, I think his price is pretty good. So I mean, I wouldn't start him in the second row, but yeah, one to keep an eye on, honestly. And then yeah, Ray Stone, the lock. So obviously with Gilbert out, there was a position opened. I'm interested to see what Ray Stone is priced at. Also, is he dual this year? I don't know what he's. Yeah, I'll have to have a look at Ray Stone as potential. Jordan McLean, Reece Robson, Tamalolo, Hilam Lukey, Nanai, and Cotter. What we'd expect. And then the bench, we got Josh Kerr, Max Plath, excuse me, Kenny Bromwich, and Mark Nichols. Yeah, so mainly middle. Well, I don't know. Kenny Bromwich. Wayne Bennett sort of turned Bromwich into a middle forward last year, so he could come on and spell Connolly or Felice. I don't think he should, but he might. Josh Kerr, Mark Nichols, obviously genuine front rowers. Max Plath, obviously, he's a bit of a utility. He can play lock, he can play dummy half. I don't know. He probably does just spell Marshall King. And then, yeah, Kenny, I don't know. Does he? He could spell Ray Stone. So, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting forward rotation. I don't hate Ray Stone, depending his price and stuff. And then the Cows have got fucking... Bro, oh my god. Cowboys, please. You have to have a better utility than fucking Jake Granville. Like, similar to Kyle Feld, but I think he's a worse player. Oh my god. How does Jake Granville keep getting selected in this Cowboys 17, bro? I know. Come on, man. Oh, Griffin Neem, good young prop. Even McIntyre there. He's not. I don't know. And then Finney Fuiaki, I do like a lot. Who is out? Okay, so yeah, no Thomas McKaylee. I don't know, man. That's interesting. And there's Semi Velame as well that should be there, but yeah. The benches. I mean, Griffin Neem and Finney Fuiaki are both good. It's probably... Finney Fuiaki is a little bit of an issue potentially for Lukey, because I think Fuiaki is definitely an edge back rower. He could play through the middle because he's that explosive and powerful, but, I mean, they used him a lot on the edge and spelled Lukey at times last year, so I wouldn't be shocked if Lukey doesn't play 80, but... We'll see. Their front row stocks are a little bit limited with Granville. Like, fuck, are they really going to play Granville through the fucking middle? Dude, he was so bad. Like, he just offers nothing through the middle. Like, yes, like he's a ball of energy. That's great. But my man gets run over all the time. He makes no meters. Come on. Oh, fuck me. Because surely Robson's going to play 80 minutes. I don't think Granville's going to play dummy half. He's going to play proper fucking lock. Oh, good God, dude. Tamalolo, obviously, I was tempted by. I didn't end up going him. So, yeah. I mean, I hope he kills it. If he does, I could, easily... I mean, I've got Spencer and Jai Arrow as my starters. Both fucking stunk it up. And both probably have to go at some point. Especially Lenu, with all the issues. So I don't know. There's two spots open. I mean, Terrell May is obviously front runner, and then I don't know if Tamalolo kills it. I could see myself going to him, but we can wait and see. But not too much else doing there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm probably okay. I'll wrap this video up. Just going through the team list and all that sort of stuff. We've been going for quite a while now. I was gonna go to my team and then talk about that, but it's gonna go on too long. I'll split the videos up in probably probably, well, obviously before Thursday, before the first game of the round, I'll do an update, final update for the team. I'll go through my plans. The team might change after that video, but it'll be pretty much locked in, and we'll discuss who I'm leaning towards. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the Team List Tuesday discussion. A lot to think about. I think we've been, a few cheapies have let us down, but I think overall it's been pretty okay. Like I don't know, I don't think we've been screwed too badly. I think for the cheapies that dropped off, a lot of them were potential, like especially for the Raiders. Like I talked about with Schiller, KO Weeks, like those guys would have been such traps, and the fact they're not named now, it makes it easier just not. You don't have to take the risk of them just sitting in the team for weeks and not play. So a few of the guys that didn't get named actually probably a silver lining, because they could have been issues down the track. But overall, I'm excited. I'm revved up for the footy to come back. The Sunday was great, but man, I'm excited to see the rest of the round one action. And oh my god, I just want to have a good first round. It started terribly. Yeah, fucking Piakora, Tupanua, Spencer Lenu, Jai Arrow. We have not had a good run. Benny and Tommy Trbojevic have saved the start quite a bit, but I need the rest of my players just to do pretty well. I need to nail the captaincy, have a good solid first round, and then try to fix up the major issues and move forward. But again, don't want to get too bound up in the first couple of rounds, because you can make up a lot of ground after that time. It's a long season. A couple of poor choices up front are not going to ruin your season, especially in the that's why it's disappointing. Our props have been a shocker. Even the back row is probably the bigger kick in the guts, but a lot of people are in the same boat, and it's an easy fix. It's an easy fix, and we can also just have a look at who sort of performs as well. So yeah, we'll talk more about the team in the next video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and comment, and I will see you in the next one.